Hello, and today we're talking about the month of October. A beautiful month of the year. I know that the harvests are a little bit on the late side. The weather is not always cooperating, but we are blessed that we are still alive. October wants us to focus on two things. First of all, it's the feast. It is the month of the Holy Rosary. An opportunity for us to meditate, maybe more than the other months, on the mysteries of the Rosary, and that is the life of Christ. And we meditate the life of Christ with Mary, as she begins in the Annunciation, and as she also gives her response, yes, to the call of being the mother of Jesus. No doubt a challenge for a young girl who doesn't know what lies before her, like many of us in our lives. So it's an opportunity to pray. It's an opportunity to pray for peace in our world, for our families, for our life, so that we can let Christ radiate through us. And during our DPC meetings that we're going to have in October also, we are going to try to bring out this aspect that we are called to bring the good news of Christ to the world. Do we still believe in that? Do we still want to do something? Do we still have the energy to do it? And it's also the month declared by Pope Francis of the missions. Of missions, why do we want to really concentrate on the universal aspect of the church? Perhaps we have forgotten it a little bit. So preoccupied with our little parishes. Are we going to close? Are we going to live? Are we going to continue? How is it going to continue? And how we are preoccupied also with the activities of our diocese and trying to join that to be part of church. But the church, the diocese, is but a part of a greater church, a universal church that has been sent out to the world. Still sent out to the world today. There are still people who leave their country to bring the good news, to be a sign of hope, a sign of Christ to the world. And so we have the whole month. And during this month, we'll have our bishop's appeal, and we have to think of our church. And then near the end of the month, we are going to remind ourselves that we have to be aware of the universal church. We are part of a church. People of God who are bringing salvation or informing people that they have been saved by Christ, loved by God, and forgiven for all what they have done. And this month, really surprisingly, has many saints that can help us to realize this mission. And we start with the first day. The patron saint of the missions is Saint Therese, who never left her monastery, but because of her life of prayer, her desire to help missionaries abroad, she even wrote to a missionary of Africa, a white father, while he was in Malawi, giving him consolation, bringing him comfort in his mission. Then we have St. Francis of Assisi. Francis of Assisi is not always considered as a great missionary, but he's the one that went to see the Sultan, went to see the leaders of the Islamic faith, to create a dialogue with them, telling us that how we are going to rebuild the church also is done by small things. If we look for big projects, we'll never do up the church. It's an everyday project. And you and I and every one of us can do something about it. And then, of course, we have some other saints that come through. We have the saints, the two great popes that we all know about, St. John the 23rd and St. John Paul II. We also celebrate them in this month. St. John the 23rd wanted to open the church, help us understand that the church had a more universal mission. And that mission was to be put in the hands of everyone, all to be involved. And that the church had to respond to the needs of today. St. John Paul II gave us ways how we can do it, telling us that Christ has always been with us. Christ precedes our mission. Christ is there before we go. We don't bring Christ. Christ invites us to go to them and sends us to go to them so they can realize this great salvation that we have received through Christ. So this is another saint we have, two saints. The other one is Saint Margaret Deauville, the foundress of the Grey Nuns, who brought the sisters to St. Boniface and all the way up to Ile-à-la-Crosse, bringing about services of education, but mainly of health here in Saskatchewan. They helped to create the health system we have today, to begin it, how we are here to serve and help the people to be in good health. And that is how we can also think of these saints. Another Canadian saint we have is Marie Durocher, Rose Marie Durocher, the foundress of the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary. And these sisters go out for educating the women, especially in their responsibility as mothers, but as people part of society, bringing out that equality, perhaps we can mention, as many other saints have tried to do also. So, as we can see, it's an exciting month. An exciting month because it's fall. Being in the fields is a great excitement, I know that. Going out combining, going to harvest what we have sowed in the springtime, going to and put it in our granaries, hoping to sell it as soon as we can. It's a joyful moment. It's a feast day of thanksgiving. Thanksgiving to God for the many gifts we have received. So we have to be part of all that movement, in that joy and happiness and excitement of getting our crops in a proper time with good weather. So we have to pray for that good weather also. And October is also that month that gives us this opportunity to review on how I am living out my baptism, something we will see in the DPC. How am I a Christian today? Is it by name or is it by actions also? And so we end off the month with Halloween, where our grandchildren or great-grandchildren will be going out for trick-or-treats and bringing out the joy and happiness that this month brings to all of us. And so let us pray together for our crops, for the success of our Bishop's Appeal, and for life that is given to us in this beautiful month of October. Thank you.